All right. So we are now live on YouTube. I can see it. I've actually joined with another laptop, so I can see that we are live. Um, welcome everyone to today's webinar. It promises to be an insightful one about data protection, AI, and automation. In this digital environment, it is very expedient for organizations and individuals to, secure their data. And that is the major cause of this webinar to educate people on some of the ways that they can protect themselves. I mean, they can protect themselves, their organization and individual, ensure their privacies, even as employees, and also to educate, data analysts, anyone who, I mean, is in the position of any analytical engagement. You will be privy to some of the information that you will need to understand to protect, the data that we are working with. So today's webinar is about data protection in data analytics and AI and automation. And we have our guest speaker who is a lecturer at Valley View University and also a data protection supervisor. Let us, stay active and also prepare your questions after the presentation. Thank you, everyone. So I welcome you, Mr. Emmanuel Duncan. Please, you can take the stage.
Okay. Thank you,
Uh,
my brother, for the introduction. Okay, so we are looking at data protection, and data protection is an emerging concept in Ghana, but then it is not a new thing outside. Ghana in 2012 enacted the Data Protection Act, and since then we have been trying to do something with data protection. But when you go outside, it has been there for some time. That is the GDPR. So we are going to look at data protection as it relates to automation, data analysis, and then AI. I would like to know if you can hear me. Let me know what profession you are into. You can just put it in the comment. What's your profession? Are you a teacher? Are you a data analyst? Are you an HR? Just type in there and let me know so I can know which example sometimes to use. I wouldn't want to be biased towards one section of the audience. All right. So you should be measured. Personal data of someone out of an organization, anybody, you should know how to ask questions, you should know how to make contributions such that we don't expose data of people unduly. Now, Data Protection Act, as I earlier indicated, came into being in 2012, and because of this, every personal data we are processing should conform to the Data Protection Act principles, and that is what we are going to look at. So when you are collecting data, when you are recording either soft copy or hard copy, you go to churches, you go for trainings, and you are asked to write names. You asked to write your name, your contact, and all that. those data has to be protected. When we talk about personal data is basically anything that can be used to identify you. So notably your name, anything that can be used to identify you, or in addition to other things used to identify you. So if we have a nickname, if you have a nickname which when added to your town can identify you, the two becomes your personal data. Let me say something like Black. Let me say something like Blackie. So Blackie Konongo. So if you know only one Blackie Konongo, then it's a personal data. All right. So data protection sets the ground rules for how all these things must be done. When you have possession of people's personal data, how do you care for it? And that is what we are going to look at. I'm still waiting for, okay, so Inshraba is an HR, Abdul is a teacher, HR, that is good. Okay. So the objective of Data Protection Commission is to protect the private. Okay, sorry. Okay, so we should not expose people's data to undue public attention. Okay, so I was saying difference between privacy and secret. Okay, so the number of children I have is private, but it's not secret. So I've chosen not to expose the number of children I have. So it's private to me. So if someday somebody gets up and then show pictures of me, my children, that is a breach of my privacy if it's not something I want out. When I have a secret, I keep it. Probably something I may have done that I want no one to know. That is my secret. But when something we are looking at privacy, we are looking at the public to know. Okay. Sorry. All right. So that is what the data protection does. So let's look at some definitions. So I've been talking about personal data. It's explained as data about an individual who can be identified from the data, other information in possession of or likely to become in possession of the data controller. So simply anything that we can use to identify a person becomes the person's personal data. And then all of us are data subject. Okay. If you can still hear me, type yes. All right. Sure. Okay, so all of us are data subjects. So I'll be using some of these terms. Data subject. That is an individual who is a subject of personal data. Any person you are collecting information about is a data subject. So an HR, your employees are data subject. To the management, you are a data subject because they collect information about you. As a teacher, your students are your data subjects. And the whole school, we also collect information about teachers. So that is, you are also a data subject there. Okay, so these are some personal data. Family details, phone number, staff ID, financial information, that is bank information, IP addresses, the date of birth, our ages, registered numbers in the case of teachers, your name, your email address, NHIS. Okay, so you can put in the comment any other personal data you feel can be used to, or any other data collect them unless we have explicit consent of the people. One is someone's race. So as an HR, you may need the race of a person, you may need the religion of the person. Okay, someone's in the SNET number, that is perfect. You may need the religion of the person, you may need the ethnic origin, whether the person is Ewe, Akan, I don't know the job or any activity that might require you ask whether the person is an Ewe or an Akan. Political opinions, whether a zoo or it is possible, or yes, a same or anything. You don't need to take all these details. Biometric data, biometric information, you don't need to take them unless you are given the permission by the person to do so. Okay. And then health data, person sex life, sexual orientation. So all these are called personal data. So you need to seek their consent. You need to let them know what the reason you are taking this information before you can be allowed to take this information. All right. But there are exceptions to this rule. One is that when the data subject has given explicit consent, or you can take those data, and then when it's necessary to fulfill the obligation of a controller or data subject. So we need your SNET number, you need your name, you need your age, you need your date of birth, we need some other things to process your salary. So if we don't have that information, we can't process it. So in that case, you can take the information. And then if you need those information to protect their vital interest, sometimes you may need to know how many females are here, how many males are here. So it aids your planning, probably the office space, and planning probably leave schedules and other things. So if it's in the vital interest of the data subject, why not? You can. And then when processing is carried out by a foundation, not for profit organization. So if you are a foundation or an NGO, you can also take such sensitive data. And then when the person has made the personal data public, so I go to Facebook and show that I am Emmanuel Duncan, I have one wife, I have 10 children, and if Idrisu mentions that anywhere, even on TV, that Emmanuel Duncan has 10 children, one wife, I cannot sue him because I have made the data public on Facebook. It's not private. Okay. And then when the matter is of public interest, so somebody has stolen something in the organization, the police are in to investigate the matter, and they need the name of the person, where the person lives. So if it's something that borders on criminality, or that when you don't give, it's going to put the public in danger, you need to give that. All right. So another key term we are going to look at is data controller. So everyone who either alone or jointly with others determine the purpose and manner in which data should be processed is a data controller. So MTN is a data controls the data, personal data of many subscribers. Teachers, so a school, GES controls data. Every organization that deals with people controls data. So that organization is a data controller. And when there's any breach, the one held responsible is the one who has the highest, who is the highest decision taker in the organization. So if you have a CEO, the CEO is the person who has the highest decision, who takes the highest, who is responsible for taking the highest decision. So if there's any breach, we hold that person responsible. Now, Data Protection Commission desires that every data controller registers with them. So if you don't register your company with Data Protection Commission, that person, the person who is who takes the highest decision, will have to face penalties. So if you're an HR here, you advise your CEO, if you have not registered with Data Protection Commission, to register immediately, because someday you might not be in trouble. He or she might be held accountable or held to court to answer why they are processing people's data, but they have not registered. Okay, so someone might say that, oh, for us, we are not processing a lot of data, but you are processing the data of employees. So you need, whether they are 2, 3, 5, the employees, their personal data must be protected. Okay, and then we also have data processors. Data processors work for data controllers. So I work in Valley View University, and a bank pays me. Prudential Bank pays me. Others have their banks. Okay, so Prudential Bank works for Valley View in payment or in management of my salary. So Valley View releases my personal data to Prudential Bank. So they are a third party that works for me, not personal, but then through Prudential Bank, through Valley View University. So Prudential Bank, in this case, becomes a data processor and needs to register with the Data Protection Commission. When I go to open an account to Prudential Bank, I am a data subject, and they are directly my data controllers. So that is the distinction we need to put in there, depending on whether they are working directly for the data subject or they are working on behalf of a data controller. That brings the distinction between the data controller and the data processor. Okay, so these are the principles of data protection. One is accountability. So you must be accountable. You must be accountable. Whatever happens, you must account. Okay. So as a data controller, you are to comply. You are obligated to comply with all the principles of the data protection, and you must demonstrate it. So you must show proof that you are complying with the data protection. So you can keep ROPA, that is records of processing. So all processing you are doing on behalf of the data, so you need to keep it. You must do data protection impact assessment. So you are going to undertake a project. How is that project going to impact on the data subject? You need to have that. You must undertake risk legitimate interest assessment. So you say that, because you pay me and you need my personal data to prepare your payroll, you need to have those data. Fine. You need to have a register that indicates the legitimate interest. What are the legal things you are doing for me that require that you take my personal data? And then see against mine to see whether I am in way of trying to help me, trying to also breach my personal my privacy. Okay. So you also need to have ownership of the data, and then sometimes you need to be strict with your vendors, your third parties. So a company is offering training for your employees. They ask them to write their names and their IDs or their details. So you need to check what they do with that data, else someday it can come to bite you. Okay. And then the organization must have privacy by design. The whole company should be such that you enter and you see that privacy is a topmost thing that they all want happen. So these are some checklists I've already explained. These are some checklists you can have, you can do to see whether you are being accountable. Now let's look at lawfulness. All right. So lawfulness. You come and you tell me to consent, I will gladly do so, because if I don't do so, you can fire me. Okay. But then for our nature, we need more than just consent. We need you need to have your legal interest assessment in place, so we can know whether whatever you are doing is very legal. And then you must, these things must be in the contract you have with the employee. Another thing is transparency. We must be open. We must be open. There are times you ask people to fill forms and you don't tell them why they are filling the form, the consequence in filling the form. I had a friend somewhere who indicated that a family member made him or her sign later when the person took his or her time. I'm using his or her time to show to so that I don't reveal the person. When the person took his or her time to go through the contract, it says that if the person doesn't have any share in the company, it was a company, and that if the company makes a loss, it is this person who is going to defray, whose property they are going to use to defray that debt. So some of these things are uncalled for, but that is not about data protection. Something I brought in. Let's be open on what do you call it? In our privacy notices on our website, some are outdated. Some of our privacy notices are outdated. Let us be open and let them know what information you take from them. Be open. If you are using AI systems, let them know. If you use AI system to scan and then to help in the selection of applicant, let everybody know, because AI systems have biases. If you should go online now, for those that generate images, I tried that some time ago with a class I was teaching. I asked them to create a good or an intelligent teacher, and the intelligent teacher was white. I asked them to create a criminal, and most of them had the criminal to be of black descent. I'm not saying AI is biased towards people of color, but what I'm saying is that AI has biases. So if you are using any system that has AI components, if you are doing any, you must be open and tell the people, okay, so this is the system you are using, and these are the consequences, and these are the biases within the system. Okay. Another thing is that there should be fairness. Once you understand that there are biases, especially with the use of AI, then you need to help do some auditing. You can do bias auditing. So you screened the numerous CVs that came with AI software. After that, you need to go through to check to see if you are not biased towards a certain group of people. Probably you are looking for a keyword, and because some people didn't provide that keyword, your AI or your software rejected them. So it is better sometimes you do human in the loop. That is, when some activities are fully automated, sometimes you need to let humans do some checks to see whether everything is right. You need to do some form of review. Okay, another thing is specification of purpose. For everything that is done, we have said that people must know what you are using their data for. Sometimes you have situations where you have collected data and you want to use it for something else. If that will be the case, then as a professional, you need to let the people know this data will be used in processing your salary. This data will be used in your performance tracking. Okay, so every time you need to specify, you need to give justification why anything is being done. Okay, so sometimes you can have a mission creep. Mission creep, this is it. Currently, I have a data about 33,000 records of a particular organization sitting on my machine. And I cannot use this data. I used it for a specific purpose. As a university, we need students to come to us. So I could go in there and pick phone numbers of these people and send them emails, or phone numbers or emails, and send them bulk message telling them, oh, my school needs people, so come. But I can't do that because that is not what the data was collected for. So we need to specify the purpose of the data. If there's going to be automated decision, if we are going to use the data in another thing, let them know what they are signing up for. Another thing is the quality of information. The principle states that you must make sure data in your possession is complete and up to date. Data in your possession is complete and up to date. There are some organizations, anytime they collect people's personal data, anytime you are going for promotion, they'll ask you to fill your personal record form, bring your certificate. What happened to that old one? It's something we need to interrogate. So it's good we have HRs here. Let's keep personal data of people well. If we look at it, if we do constant review and see constant audit and see there are some gaps to be filled, you just call the individuals concerned. Please, I think we are missing your SNIT number. Can you supply us your SNIT number? This is better than calling for personal data anytime the person is applying for something. And we'll talk about story, but then you go to some offices and you see how data is stored is bad. You see all files exposed, files that have people's personal data exposed. You see the table of the HR, you see the table of the CEO with people's personal information open. You need to protect all that. And then, so every data that is in your possession, you need to keep it up to date. And then sometimes we generate some perceptions. So you use data about someone, you collect data about someone, and then you use AI to predict. You use AI to interpret. We must often see these as possibilities but not facts. So you have data about Emmanuel Duncan. and then you put it in AI, and AI tells you Emmanuel Duncan is likely to leave the company in the next 3 years. You should not see it as a fact that Emmanuel Duncan wants to run, but a possibility that he might run. And that if you have to do something about it, you do it. You don't say that I've seen that analysis I did, I've seen that you want to run away, and then we want to fire you before you run away. That should not be. So as people who are, as HRs, as teachers, as data analysts, whatever data we have, whenever we want to collect data, we must verify the accuracy at the point of correction. So at the university, we admit students. And before we issue letters, we check the forms, and then we check the accompanying document to certify they are good for admission before it is inputted in our management system. So as an HR, as a data analyst, you should be concerned about the data entry. You should verify what the people are putting in, because that is forming the basis of your analysis. You should have regular reviews and update. Sometimes you need to take your time and review some of the things you have done. If there's a need to verify, human verify, that should be it. It's not everything that you feel once the system generates for us. That is correct. There are cases where people dispute with their companies. The company is saying that they are due for retirement, and they also say that they are not due for retirement. One is the company can say that, oh, when you take the system, you are supposed to go on retirement on 6th. You are supposed to go on retirement on 6th February. You should check. We have had a challenge before when a student came that he has a problem with his date of birth on our management system. And you see the challenge was that second, this person's date of birth was 2nd June in a specific year. And then the person who entered the data entered it 6th February because of data entry. So the person, the source document, and saw that truly we made a mistake in the data entry and corrected it. So these things you don't say that whilst the system is saying this, that is it. Okay. Data security. You see, we must try and secure, I've added everything, we must try and secure the data of our data subject. I've talked about filing. I've talked about people sometimes as an HR or as any other person listening to me, you must be able to clear your table, put things in order before you leave your table, because you might not know who is interested in the data on your table. Your laptop, You sit and you don't care about who is behind you. I once did a training for a group of teachers, and when I visited the school, someone was by a computer typing something. So the back was facing the door. So I stood there watching what the person was doing. So later in the conversation, I brought that up. So if it had been the personal data of some group of people, I can take them without seeking any consent. Then there's data subject participation. Whatever data people give to you, they have right to it. They have right to it. So you must make sure that these people are informed about their data. They should be able to give and withdraw consent. If they tell you, I want this, I've consented to this, and tomorrow they write to you officially and says that from now onwards, I don't want you to indicate my name in any of your documents, so be it, you withdraw. They should have access to their personal information. So everybody has a right. If they write to you, the law says, I think within 40 days, you should be able to provide that information. But that is not without cost. So you can write to your bank and tell them, I want all that you know about me since the time I opened my account. So somebody can write to the organization they left and say that I want all information you have about me, and that after that delete all my records from your for the company record. You must agree to it, and then they should be able to amend. They should have the opportunity to come and say that my date of birth is not 6 March, 6 February, but rather 2nd June. But notwithstanding, there should be verification. They should be able to object to something. If they are doing anything on their behalf and they say no, they have their right. But every right comes with a responsibility. So in the case where we are processing salaries and you say that you don't want your bank information to be processed, then we will leave your salary in the company. That is it. Okay. They can prevent processing. They have freedom from automatic. Now you use that in other things, in other data analysis. You go to the supermarket, take the data of sales and all that, and then you would want to use it to answer certain questions. So please, in that case, people can object and say that, please don't do that. Okay, and then they have the right to complain, they have the right to compensation, they have the right to erasure. They can tell you, please erase my name, please erase my personal data, and then they have the right to human intervention. They apply for a job to your outfit, you deny them, you tell them, oh, we had a software that screened, and unfortunately, you were not successful. They have the right to write to you and say that I request a human to look at it rather than your software. Okay. So in ending, I want us to look at these two. What are the common sources of data breaches you have witnessed or heard? So in the chat, you can type in there the common sources of data breaches, either in your company or anywhere that you have seen or heard. And then what are some of the things we can do to prevent privacy breaches? Thank you. So I want to end here, and then if there are questions, I'm ready to entertain them.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel Duncan. It's been a wonderful one. Hello, everyone. Please, if you have a question, let us know. We will add you to the stage so that you ask your question. You can let me know in the chat section. Or you can just drop your question in the chat section.
Okay. Yeah, so Idrisu.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good
This
afternoon.
Idris Abdulhalik.
Okay.
My question is I just want to ask about what Mr. Duncan did mention about personal data and then that of data subjects. With regards to someone data being made available to his or her company, but unfortunately within the working period, the person has indulged in a criminal activity for which he or she is needed for some investigations to be done or to be made with regards to that criminal activity. So you can see that when they are publishing the person's personal data that you did mention about data subjects, they do cover the person's eyes getting to the nose. So why do they usually do that? Is there a reason? And if there is a reason, probably someone may see the face and will be able to at least tip any other investigative authority to be able to find this person that they are looking for. And the next one is that you did mention about the data controller. So with regards to the data controller, assuming if I'm at the school level and I happen to coordinate whatever happens between myself and my next supervisor, that is my head teacher, and then that of the district education office.
Okay.
I'm asked to collect data for the district. So I'm going to work under my head teacher. Through him that the data will get to the office. Will I be considered the data controller, or I would be given or assigned a different name aside the data controller? Thank you. These are my two questions. Thank you. I don't know if that's clear. Thank you.
Yes, it's clear. It's clear. Okay. So mostly when people are caught, that is why they cover their faces. They cover their faces because until proven guilty, you cannot say by a competent court of jurisdiction, we cannot say that person is a criminal. So in time past, people have been labeled wrongly. So we arrest somebody thinking, oh, that is, let me use a popular name, Atai. So we have arrested Atai, and then in the end, you find out it's not Atai. Hello, Mr. Halik, please, if you can hear me, type yes. I think he says he cannot hear me. Okay, so what I'm saying is that if a person over the, because he or she has been proven guilty by a competent court of jurisdiction. So until that, we cannot expose the person. The person is not a criminal. And then the second part, you are just working on the data. You are forgotten the term, but then the data controller itself is the school. So who is taking responsibility? It is the head. Every data goes out through the head. So the head at that level is the one who will be held responsible. So the school is as an corporate organization, is a data controller. But then the school doesn't need to register with data protection because they are working for Ghana Education Service. So Ghana Education Service will have to register as the data controller. So Ghana Education Service is the data controller. And if anything happens, if you do anything untoward, Ghana Education Service should seek to punishing you, making sure to mitigate. Else, if it escalates, the one who takes the highest decision will have to be blamed. That is the Director General. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yes, I'm sure you've been able to tackle that question. Mr. Idrisu, if you are okay, then we allow him to continue with the section. We just want to make sure we close in time. We end the webinar in time.
Oh,
Thank you.
this is the last slide. Anyway,
Okay, okay. So
this is the
please,
last slide. So if people can come up with the sources of data breaches, that is fine. Yeah.
all right, all right. Thank you.
Okay. So, Mr. Idris,
Please,
if you are back, I said that people their faces are covered because they have not been proven guilty by the court. And the other question too, I said that you are part of a bigger organization that is Ghana Education Service. And Ghana Education Service is the data controller. Yeah.
okay. Please, your questions are welcome. If anyone has a question, uh, kindly let us know so that we will meet you to join the stage so you could ask your question, please. Okay, I think Mr. Idrisu has a question again. Let me add him to the back to the stage.
Okay.
Good afternoon once again. Please, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm glad to have been a part of this presentation, and I'm glad to have learned a lot. Please, my question is that you've seen usually colleagues mentioning that financial institutions keep giving them messages as to how to access loans and some facilities. And the question is being asked: is it that they have, with the necessary regulations, to seek for data of employees before getting it, or they use a medium through the controller and accountant general or any of the telecos in getting people's telephone numbers? That has to do with something that you didn't mention about the data subject. Is it that they personally go to request for these telephone numbers to give out those messages, or they write at the back of any teleco to get the telephone numbers? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. How people get numbers are varied. We often tend to the telcos and say that they are the most corporate, but I beg to differ. You see, these days people are using a whole lot to get information. Like this point where they hack people to get onto platforms. Once somebody gets to a platform, the person can copy numbers from there and send and sell. That is one. And there are people who anything they will see, they will click. Probably someday we can come here, we can come back here and talk about data security. Anything they say that Gwal, Mahama, they will say that this person is sharing ABCD. You click the link and it asks for your number, sometimes your phone number, sometimes your email. You give it to them, they collect some of these things, and then boom, they use that, they can use that against you. So I won't rule the telcos out. I don't have evidence that they leak our information, because I know as a corporate organization, they may be strict with data protection. So for that one, I can't say for sure, but I may not rule that one out. It can happen because it's a human institution. But then people are socially engineering to get some of these things. Teachers, the way some of us keep our records, your personal records, how you keep them at home, at school. I had a case where a cousin used the pay slip of one person, a teacher, to, that is not, I'm not saying my cousin, so a cousin of the affected. He used the pay slip of the affected to seek for loan, and they were staying in the same house, they were eating together, and this guy was always complaining, a loan facility is being deducted from my account, and I do, oh, then this thing is not good though, go and check, do this, trying to give advice. Meanwhile, he is the same person who has taken the data, the pay slip to do that. So sometimes you need to keep your information private. Please don't trust anybody. Never trust everybody. You see, the Bible even says that even your wife who lies in your bosom, sometimes you need to be careful with her. and goes the same for the husband. So we should be careful with your husband as well. So I know that area is one area people are using so much to get information. Okay.
All right. Please, any other question? If not, thank you so much, for a great presentation. It's been an insightful and practical one. Personally, I've learned a lot from the principles, the quality of information, and sometimes how uh, even employees, being line managers, front managers, or you working behind your laptop, how sometimes you become negligent of the informations that you are working with. Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel Duncan. Uh, Thank you for your time and your sharing your knowledge with us. And we say thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, we are live on YouTube as Lunara Learning Hub. You can subscribe to our channel as well. And if you are an HR and you are interested in learning analytics, AI, you can also join our YouTube uh, channel as well. Okay, I share daily insights. Every week I produce information on how to leverage data on HR analytics on YouTube. So you can subscribe to my channel as well. And yeah, my name is Emmanuel Duncan, and I forgot to mention that. And thank you, Mr. Emmanuel Duncan. Hope to see you at the backstage. Please, your last words for us, if you have anything to say. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, we cannot hear you.
All right, all right, all right. So, please, I wanted to ask for your last words if you have anything to share with us before we go offline.
Okay. So I want to thank everybody for coming live to learn from this. What I want to say is that as data subjects, we need to know our rights. As data processors, we need to know our responsibilities. If you feel that you are a data subject, but there's nothing good about you, which people might be interested, remember you have a phone number, you have a name that someone can impersonate. So you should be careful about what data people take about you or from you, know why they are taking it, and then uh, um, demand that they seek your consent if they are doing what you call automated decisions. That is, after taking the data, if they want to use the data for any other unintended purpose, they should seek your consent. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you in our subsequent webinar. Bye bye.
Bye.